Welcome back. It's the Cat Travoltathon.
It's a very special episode because this is episode number 10 and we're marking it with a very special movie.
Cats. Cats is a musical flick. It features a lot of other celebrities. Jason
Derulo.
Diamandis, Benson Huxley.
I know everyone in this movie. I'm a Cats super fan. James Corden, you got Taylor Swift, Idris Elba,
John Travolta,
Harry Belafonte, Ian McKellen is in it.
the Queen.
You've got Rebel Wilson, even Judi Dench.
When I came across a tabby cat.
It's about the ins and outs of the street lives of these kind of London cats told through theatrical musical numbers. It follows this cat who's kind of recently become stray and
Victoria.
And she kind of meets the group and we're kind of just introduced to cat after cat after cat. That's pretty much the bulk of the plot, is being introduced to the cats.
You're forgetting the main source of drama in the movie, which is that Judi Dench has the power to make one cat every year immortal at the Jellicle Ball.
Yeah. The Jellicle Ball is basically the lifeblood of the cat universe because their lives are so grim and desolate. The whole purpose of these cats' lives revolve around winning the Jellicle Ball with their magical song and getting swept away inside of the hot balloon. Basically, we've got McCavity, the dastardly evil cat. He wants to use his evil wizard tricks to get there evilly. And that's pretty much the plot.
First things first, you made a mistake.
The opening scene really made me burst out with a sharp cry of laughter. The song begins, and it's this really boingy synth twang. It's a very strange little music.
I'll sing it.
It really made me burst.
You see human legs a la Tom and Jerry, and then they pull open a bag, and out of the bag emerged another cat.
It's interesting they started it with the human legs, because I think if they didn't have them in, the scale of these cat creatures would be harder to pinpoint. They are not cat-sized. They're closer to a rat's size than a cat size. You see him holding a bloody fork that's the size of them and shit like that. It reminds me a lot of the film Flushed Away, a true favourite of mine, because in those films, they just have the kind of bodies of a human, but with a tail and the kind of extendedly long faces. However, in that film, they are making it cartoonish. They're going for like the Wallace and Gromit design, whereas this, they've tried to make it realistic in this stylized way.
Everything other than the cats looks quite good. Like, I don't know how much you know about the production of this movie. I know a lot, because I am, of course, Cat super fan Harris Murphy. The director of this movie wanted the people dancing, because there's lots of boogie in the movie. None of the people boogieing were wearing the Andy Serkis ball costumes, like with the green and the ping pong balls on them. I don't know if you know a lot about 3D animation and design, Ethan Proops.
Oh, not at all.
Well, let me just mansplain this to you. The tennis ball costumes make it easier to do that. Do you understand? I know your feeble brain might not be able to understand.
One sec. Let me just think about it for a second. Oh, right. So you're telling me that Andy Serkis is in Cats?
No, John Travolta's in Cats.
No, he's not. I don't think they should have gone with ball suits. I don't think they should have gone with CGI at all. To do digitally takes a whole lot of work, and you can't get it to look really that good. But to do physically, it's cheap, it's easy. You can make it look really realistic. You can get like some really well-made animal hair costumes, and they are the designs of people in costumes. The design is the real zinger about this film. Before it even came out, everyone hated it. Not only would it have saved them so much more money, it would have saved the box office.
Nah,
probably.
I don't think there was much of a big Cats fan base. Like, I'm in the Cats subreddit. I've been in it for 3 years at this point. I'm a continuous poster, commenter, awarder. I've given millions of Reddit gold on the Cats subreddit. And there's not many people on there. It's like 300 people. We live in a society where people would rather get a dog, and a cat is not a dog.
A cat is not
a dog.
A large portion of this movie is dedicated to the distinction of cats and dogs. And when I say a large portion of this movie, I mean Judi Dench says it. But the problem is they do not present the concept of dogs at all in this film. However, dogs do exist in this universe. You have the Jellicle cats and the pollicle dogs. That is the kind of
Really?
C.S. Lewis's concept of it all. If there was some like dog scenes, if the cats had a bit more imminent threat and danger in their life, it would have increased the tension. However, to view this film as something that's going for, like something that's supposed to engage you like with action or anything like that, is to not understand what this film is about at all. It is not a traditional movie. It is a dreamlike continuation of theatrical displays of songs. All aspects of about this film which you are supposed to like take enjoyment from aren't really supposed to be connected to like a plot, with the exception of maybe memory. But that's not in the musical, is it?
No.
Or was it? Oh no,
No.
it is.
Do you want to talk about a couple of the characters in this movie?
There's no real plot for the main character. The main character exists as just kind of an eyepiece.
As a cats expert, I know that this main character, Victoria, was not in the original play. She was placed into this new adaptation to sort of contextualize the cat's world from
Yeah.
a new point of view.
I was actually talking to Andrew Lloyd Webber about it because he's a music teacher at our school, and he said that he had actually intended on writing a cat character called Victoria, and that's why they used that name, but it was a completely different character to what he intended. But because he'd already had the Judi
That's
Dench
bullshit!
character-
Victoria is based on another poem by T.S. Eliot that was not related to the original collection of poems that they based Cats on.
I might have been lying. Rum tum tug.
Is a curious cat.
He comes in with this absolute slaptastic bass line, groovy tune, and it sounds awful, by the way. It's terrible. He just drinks loads of milk, which I guess is kind of the cat equivalent of alcohol. He's, slides around, squirting his swag out of all of his pores, especially at the female cats.
He's a curious cat. Would you agree?
Interestingly enough,
You were going to say that he's not a curious cat. The song is about him instead being contrary.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get at.
I read your mind.
The song says he's a curious cat, but it's just about his indecision.
If you offer me pheasant, I'd rather have growl.
But I don't think that you're right. In this sense of the word, curious does not mean, oh, I wonder what this is about. Curious means strange, as in, oh, these are some curious events that are going on. Because it's strange for him to be indecisive. It couldn't be about him being curious about things, because curiosity kills the cat.
My fingertips are glued together.
We've got Ian McKellen, the cat.
Asparagus,
Yes,
the theatre cat.
Hospice.
You're just taking the piss out of these characters in this franchise, which I love. You're like, Hospice the cat? That's not his name. We're here to give critical thinking about the movie. And how can we do that if you're just going to take the piss?
Cool your tits, simmer down. We can watch Cats again if you like. We'll put Cats on. Everything will be okay.
Who's next? Asparagus.
Yeah, Hospice the cat. He's pull yourself together, Ian McKellen, you pussy. Pun alert.
Yep. There was a lag there, so you were just sort of frozen, and then the next thing I know, you dig into the dab.
Deuteronomy.
And then we've got Judi Dench. Her name is the Grand Vizierage of the cat Pollicle Lamau Jellicle Fantangulus.
Old Deuteronomy.
Named after the Bible passage. In Deuteronomy, we have Zu, the son of Zimmer. That's in the Bible itself, by the way.
She is not in line for the Jellicle choice. She is the one making the Jellicle choice. You're not taking the source material seriously. You're just taking the piss. Window liquor.
And then we've also got Gordon the cat. It goes, let's make some frites. Let's make some papaya. He's the chef cat. He provides all the cats with their meals in the prison. Everything he makes is flambéed. Flambéed eggs, flambéed cress, flambéed bayed parsley. There's one part where
The egg breaks, remember? And he's like, where's this come from? And then the other cats are like, have to explain
yeah,
that eggs aren't forever. And they use a few made up words like russus. They're like, this egg is a russus. Because that's what they do in the movie. They just make up words.
moving on, Sheldon the cat, who's the physics cat, he does, I know about science, I know all of the things. They make up words again, like
Racketeering? Because the problem is
Yeah.
physics cat gets arrested for racketeering.
Bum rush the speak of the boom.
Oh, and there's my favourite. Stoblerus, the anti-Semitism cat. He's a pretty lackluster character in terms of development. He, despite his name, is actually against anti-Semitism. That's all the characters. Let's talk about how the cats in this movie are really hot and sexy.
we are unfortunate enough to not see the bomb holes. A cat's mouth is a deadly place to put your penis. Don't find that out the hard way.
During the production of this movie, they did put the bumholes on, but then they used digital welding software to weld the cat's anuses shut. I didn't really get too many boners during this one, just 2 or 3 here and there. But if there's like a director's cut, maybe I could have 4 or 5
Or maybe just the one.
throughout the entire
The one.
movie.
A large erect penis for James Corden's ass.
Shout out AQA.
I think my favourite one has to be Rebel Wilson's song, where she's sort of boogieing, she tears off her own skin, she
Yeah.
eats some living cockroaches, there's singing child mice. It's a real good musical number. She's sort of like, you know, she's snapping along if she feels like a room without a roof. What was your favourite music?
Mungo Jerry,
Oh,
because
yes. They performed in
dumped-
the summertime.
In the summertime, when the weather is high, you can stretch right up and touch the sky.
it's a really jolly tune about these people in the summertime who scald their hands.
It's quite a cautionary tale.
Throughout the rest of the film, we see these kind of bloody skeletal handprints left around places, and we can just know with our mind, Mungo Jerry's been about.
Yeah, my next point I want to make is about agriculture in Cuba.
Squeeze me.
I think that it's really taken a downturn with the new government. They've planned to renovate parks under the old government, and the new administration don't seem to want to do that. It's a real shame because it's got the potential to be a really nice country.
I see what you mean, and they are making the similar mistake with the housing estate they're building near my house. As it stands right now, I'm not happy.
Ball cheese.
At the end of the film, there is the Jellicle kind of song off, but McCavity, the evil cat, is deciding to begin his dastardly plan. Taylor Swift arrives and laces them all with catnip.
Yeah, the problem is that with this Jellicle competition, it seems to be that everyone is going to sing a song and whoever does the best song wins. But then McCavity arrives and Taylor Swift sings his song for him.
With McCavity, I do understand his motivation here because he is living in a society where the one way to get to the afterlife is to be Ricardo Atherton.
Yeah, Keanu Reeves.
Taylor Swift says he's broken every human law.
He's broken every human law.
That's impressive to do for a human. And he is a cat. He's done tax evasion. He can't even evade tax. He's not going to be paying federal income taxes. He's a cat. He's jaywalked. He's pirated the movie Flubber.
Well, actually, it's actually physically impossible for him to have broken all these laws because the laws don't apply to cats.
That's why I was saying it's so difficult. Or maybe he's not even been convicted. Maybe he's just kind of got like a checklist on his phone of all these human laws and he's just kind of making his way through them. He's just like, oh, next up, have sex with a minor.
Yeah, think about a tiny little ferret-sized Idris Elba having sex with a child. This is what this
I
film
want
is
to.
like.
He's been driven down this path of life because he won't steam his voice to go on the Voice Cats with Judge Old Doot I Am. Will I honour me?
Will I do. Also, speaking of Will I Am for a second, I asked Ricardo Atherton for his phone number and he's still not given it to me. So if you're watching this video, Ricardo, don't forget to text me that phone number because he said he would, but he just hasn't as of yet. So if you're watching, just don't forget.
That's very disrespectful. You and Ethan Proops have gone back years through thick and thin. It's just 11 numbers, and you can't do that. So, Zaborio,
Thank you so much for sticking up for me right there, Murph.
This isn't Cat's review. This has been a hoax all along. This has been a front for Ricardo Atherton hate speech.
That's what this video was all along. This brings me back to the old days.
I know a way to get him. I know a way to get him, right? Bagpuss.
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 I bet you're feeling a little bit sleepy there, Zaborio.
We tricked you, Ricardo. We lured you in with the promise of cats, but it was just Bagpuss all along.
Yes.
I had quite a couple of insightful things to say, but instead I just talked complete nonsense.
That's on you.
Give our final scores.
As someone who has followed the Cats franchise, I've been a big fan. I had a lot of expectation going into this for it to be very good, but I don't think it delivered. So I'm going to give it a 2.
It does have something to it. The kind
A
of
magic. It's got an
whimsical,
aura of
you know, the nature of it. It is there, and I can see that. However, what it does present, there's so much flawed with it. I guess just overall, it is 3 out of 10. What are we gonna give John Travolta for this movie out of bald Travolta heads?
I'm tempted to give it quite a low score, considering he's not in it. But I do think that John Travolta has given good performances in other movies. That being said, I'm gonna give him 2 out of 5 Travolta heads.
I'm going to give him 5 bald Travolta heads because I think him not being in this film was the best decision he could have made. I think it's about time we let the cat out the bag.
This was all a big April Fool's prank on Ricardo atherosclerosis. You got.
John Travolta's not in this movie. You know, we'd said we were going to do that Scientology one for episode 10, but instead we've done this.
So next time we will do that Scientology documentary. But until then, I've been Ethan Proops.
I've been Harry Belafonte.
Travolta, Sophie's face. Travolta, good and fair displays.